What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Enigmatica 2 Expert. Oh yeah, guys. So last episode, we were kind of exploring IC2 UU matter. Yep, we were using the mass fabricator to generate UU matter, and we saw that it was taking a stupid amount of power in order to generate what little UU matter that we could. Yeah, we were using over 1.2 million RF per tick to generate that UU matter. And we saw that that was like 6 times more power than what we're actually generating from our extreme reactor over here. Now, this thing only generates about 200,000 RF per tick, which is a lot, but we are actually using all of our uranium to keep this up. We have that currently turned off, and the uranium is now going back into our induction matrix to refill this thing. Yeah, we took a nice big chunk out of this. It's going to take 6 times longer in order to refill it. Anyway, so we're getting power back. That's not a big deal. But we discovered, or I guess I talked about wanting to get into mechanism fusion reaction. Yeah, so in order to do that, we needed to get to this HDPE sheet because we are going to need a solar neutron activator, which requires HDPE. Okay, so in order to do this, we have to start all the way over at the beginning here. In order to make the HDPE sheets, we need these pellets. And the pellets come from substrate, oxygen, liquid ethylene. And ethylene production, we need to get the gaseous version of that, which comes from water and hydrogen plus biofuel. That produces ethylene plus a substrate. And then the hydrogen comes from an electrolytic separator with water. So what we're going to do is set up another one of these chains over here that's going to be pretty specific for creating one thing. Yeah, I'm probably just going to set it up over here. We're not going to be using the ethylene at all for fuel. You can do that in Mechanism, but we already have a pretty decent power generation as it is, and we're just going to jump over ethylene and the gas burning generators. Our only thing that we want is just this HDPE pellets to make this sheet. So we're going to go ahead and get this whole chain set up here. So I guess the very first thing we need to do is get water going into an electrolytic separator, which we made last episode. So this guy, I think hydrogen comes out the left side. So we're going to want to place this facing this way. I'm pretty sure. We can test that later, and I can always flip this machine, but I feel like it is that way. Okay, so we have hydrogen going to be generated here. We also need to get ourselves biofuel, so we need a crusher that's going to be crushing different things. We talked about pumpkins are probably going to be what we use. Melons, I think, are the best overall, but we already have a pumpkin farm set up, so we can just take pumpkins and put it through here, and I think you get 6 of them per pumpkin. Yeah, and like I said, we're not going to need like thousands and thousands of these, so it's not really a big deal, and we already got pumpkins set up right here, so we'll just use those. So last episode, we also did make a elite crushing factory. We'll just put this down here. We'll pipe the pumpkins over into this. Not a big deal. Okay, so now that we have the hydrogen and the biofuel taken care of, we need to, let's see, we want to get this ethylene. So we need a pressurized reaction chamber where we put both the hydrogen, the biofuel, and some more water into. Okay, I don't think we actually made the PRC, did we? No, we did not. Pressurized reaction chamber, can we? Okay, let me go ahead and get an autocraft set up for this, and I think we need 2 of those. Let me do that real quick. We'll be right back. All right, guys, so I started doing a little bit of the infrastructure and getting this all set up. So one of the main things that I wanted to do was get this electrolytic separator that's creating both hydrogen and oxygen. Yeah, I wanted both of these, well, I guess both of the outputs, to determine if this electrolytic separator should turn on or off. Otherwise, we kind of have to have it in a dumping excess mode, because sometimes we use more oxygen than hydrogen or one or the other, and we always want to make sure that it's full. And if we have both on dumping excess, it's just going to run constantly trying to fill both slots, but it's never going to get full. Anyway, so what I ended up doing was taking the outputs from our electrolytic separator and piping them into an ultimate gas tank. So we have 512 buckets of hydrogen and oxygen in both of these tanks. And we're using a redstone comparator on both of those to see if they are completely full. So we have a redstone block on the side of the comparator, and this is outputting a redstone 15. That's a 15, so this outputs a redstone signal. Same thing on the other side. So we have the ultimate gas tank with a comparator, redstone block. If it's full, it outputs a 15, and then that goes into this logic gate from RF Tools. The logic gate from RF Tools is kind of cool. It has 3 inputs, and based on how these inputs are coming in, you can tell it what to do. So we want from both sides, right? So that'd be A and C. Doesn't matter if it's A or C. Just either, as long as both of those are on, which would be this line right here, we want to emit a redstone signal. So when both of those comparators are on, we're receiving redstone from both sides. So we emit a redstone signal, and then that goes into this conduit, which kind of wraps around underneath and into the bottom of our electrolytic separator, which we have set to only run if the redstone signal is low. Okay, so this will only run if either one of these gas tanks drops below completely full, right? That solves our problem. That's pretty cool. I like it. All right, so that was one of the things I started working on. We have our pressurized reaction chamber here, which is getting its biofuel from the Elite Crushing Factory up above, which is full of pumpkins. That's coming over from our garden cloche over here. So this is full, the output is full. This is really overkill for what we needed here. But anyway, so this is outputting the result to the bottom into this PRC, which is taking the hydrogen from this gas tank right here, right? And then water from our applied energistic system back here. Yeah, we're outputting water with a fluid export bus. So we are getting both of those, and that's producing substrate. Okay, so we need to pretty much continue on here. I didn't want to do everything off camera. So the rotary condensator is taking the gaseous ethylene and turning it into liquid ethylene. Yep, but we don't have power here. I did put in all the upgrades though. Power is very simple. I put a flex point underneath this machine. We just need to put a conduit next to that to take the power, or a flux duct or whatever. I guess we'll just use this one Ender energy conduit. So this should get power. Yep, and that's now taking the gaseous ethylene and turning it into liquid ethylene. But this machine's no longer running because we have substrate here, and this is full. So we need to do something with that. So the substrate needs to be put over into, I think, this machine, right? So we're trying to make the HDPE. So we have oxygen coming into this pressurized reaction chamber from this gas tank. Yep, that's the other side of our electrolytic separator. So we have oxygen coming in, and then we have the ethylene. Well, that's not really set to be coming in yet. Let's change this. So we'll extract on green, always active. And then this one, we will say insert on green. So now we have our liquid ethylene and our oxygen, but we also need to get that substrate over here. So substrate, how do we want to do that? I guess we could put a conduit coming over and then attaching here or something. I'm not sure what the best way of doing that. Let's grab ourselves, oh, we have item conduit right here. Okay, so I guess we'll pull out of the front. We'll just connect down into here for now. I might rearrange this later. Then we can come into that same side, I do believe. So this pressurized reaction chamber, we need to do the site config on this, and the item config on the front, that's the back, this is the front. We want to output. Yep, I guess we can turn off all of these other ones. It doesn't really matter. Well, we want the input from the top. We want the output from the side. This energy one doesn't really matter. And then we can tell it to auto eject on, but this conduit didn't update. We have to like break and replace it, and then it should connect. Yeah, anyway, so now we have that green coming over here, and then we want the item conduit to insert, and this machine needs to know that it's going to accept items from the, I guess that's the right hand side. So item, this is set to output by default. We're going to set this to input. So this should start getting that stuff. Maybe I have to tell this to extract always active. There we go. So now we're getting the substrate over here. We have the liquid ethylene, we have the oxygen, and we are making HDPE, except we don't have power. I guess I'll just do another flux point. We could probably use less flux points for all of this, but they're just so easy. It's just easy to get things hooked up. Okay, so now we're taking that substrate, we're turning it into HDPE pellets, and we're getting some oxygen as a byproduct. I think what I want to do with that oxygen is just kind of delete it. If this fills up with oxygen, then we stop running. But we only made 320. That's not even a full bucket for a stack of this. And I'm not exactly sure how much of this we need. We just needed like one sheet. for making this solar neutron activator. So I honestly don't know how many of these we're gonna make. Maybe I'll just take half a stack of HDPE and let everything fill back up, but everything should turn off here. Yeah, once this fills up, this should stop making substrate. And then the gas over here should fill back up and everything should be happy. Yeah, it made a little bit of hydrogen that it's using all of that. This is just making the liquid ethylene. This will fill up, then the gas side will fill up. Or I guess we'll just have substrate stop the whole process. Either way, we're good. So I'd like to finish this up just by kind of putting some of these around here. The facades, just to kind of make things look a little bit nicer. I guess we'll do that and that, that and that. Okay, yep, everything looks just that much more clean. I think that's a better look. And then everything else that we're seeing that is the gravel down below or whatever, we can probably just cover up. Oh, got one spot down here we can't quite cover that, so we'll just replace that with the quartz. All right, I think we're pretty much good. Now, we did kind of break out of the base a little bit. There's the ocean right there. Not much I can do about it. I guess we could also put a conduit facade on there, and then we don't see that anymore. All right, so now everything's nice and covered. Everything is looking neat. Put one right there too. Yep, I think we're good here. So that is our automated HDPE. Now, again, it's not filling everything up because we're running into a substrate overflow. We could put some kind of a chest to capture this and delete it after a certain amount, like a unupgraded storage drawer with the void upgrade or something like that. We could do that. I don't know. We might. It depends. I don't know how much of the substrate, or I guess the HDPE we need, but let's go ahead and make ourselves the sheets that we're looking for. So there is our HDPE sheet. I don't know if there's any other mechanism quests that we need to do here. Did we do them all? No, we still haven't done the ultimate tier installer and the quantum entangloporter. I guess we never did finish up the fusion reactor. Now, I can't remember what the reactor controller needed. Reactor controller. What did this need that we weren't doing? Ultimate control circuits, gas tanks, fusion core. We can make all that stuff. I guess we just never made this. Yeah, we never went this far because we needed the HDPE sheet for this guy. So now that we have that, I can make recipes for the solar neutron activator. I'm going to make like 3 of those. I don't know if we need that much, but I mean, they're not super expensive for us to craft, so why not? All right, so I just made the pattern. We had everything ready to go that we were able to make the solar neutron activator. So we got 3 of those now. Awesome. So the next step is we have to make the fusion stuff. So, or I guess reactor. So let's take a look at this. We already had reactor frames in here from a while ago. So we already had that auto craft set up, but we need a reactor controller. And I just made patterns for these. I haven't done anything else. And it looks like we're able to make the reactor controller. We need to get ourselves 2 reactor ports. This is for the quest, by the way. I think we're going to end up needing 3 of those reactor ports eventually. And then I think it said we needed like 52 reactor frames. So we'll go ahead and start crafting all that. And then we need a laser focus matrix. That's one thing I didn't make a recipe for. Laser focus matrix. Yep. This is how you start the ignition of the reactor. All right, let's place that down here. I did make some reactor glass so we can see in there if we want to see the animations. And then also, I guess on top of all of this, we are going to need to get ourselves the mechanism lasers. So we need both the laser and the laser amplifiers. Yeah, this is a little bit of a complicated thing. Energy tablet. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to set this to allow substitution so this recipe doesn't fail. And then this one, we need basic energy cube. Again, or dictionary substitute allow on. Cube, do we have those? We do have those. Awesome. All right, so we can place those guys in here. Reactor. All right, so we're going to need a few lasers and a few of the laser amplifiers. Laser amp. Let's make, I don't know, 5. That's probably good. So we get 5 of those. And then we need, I think 4 for every one of those. So let's make like 20. I'm going to make like 25 lasers. We might end up using more than this. I don't know. We'll see how this all goes. So all of that, yep, easy, easy, easy. We have all that in AutoCraft, so no big deal here. So the other thing was we needed the laser matrix focus. We needed the reactor stuff in our inventory. So this is all completed now. So here's our 52 reactor frames. We needed the reactor ports. And of course, we need the reactor controller. If I can find it in here somewhere. Did it not ever complete? Am I missing it? Reactor controller. So this is not completing, probably because of the ultimate gas tank. So let's cancel this. Let me go get the reactor controller recipe. We'll put that in here and we'll allow substitutions on this one. So it will eventually work. Reactor once again, and we'll tell it to make the controller. Okay, there we go. Now it works. Awesome. So that should complete the quest if I remember correctly all the things that I wanted. No, is it missing something? Oh, I needed 56 reactor frames. Reactor frame. I needed 4 more of these. That should be pretty quick to do. It's just got to make some of these alloys, and we have all that on AutoCraft. So just one more second here. There it is. All right. So there is the 56 reactor frames, and that completes that quest. Awesome. So let's take the bottom loot chest. We get ourselves some dead bushes. Woo! All right, so we have that done. So this is pretty much everything that we're gonna need in order to get the reactor set up. We need the thermal evaporators in order to make brine, the brine into lithium. Then we need to take the solar neutron. We need these guys in order to convert that lithium into tritium, I think. Yeah, so that'll do that. Again, I don't know how many of these we need. I think just one's going to be enough, but I feel like we're going to end up making more than one reactor because I want to go big with power, and this is pretty inexpensive. Yep, you just make all the blocks, set it up, and it just produces power essentially forever. We are going to need water, though, so we need pumps. Mechanism pumps. So I have 3 of these already pre-made. One of them, at least one of them, needs to start making heavy water. Mechanism has a filter for heavy water, filter upgrade. Filter that separates heavy water from regular water. I honestly don't know how many of these we need. I feel like we're going to need more of these electric pumps than what I have made here. So let's tell the system to make, how about, what do we have, 3? Let's do like 4 heavy water and 4 regular water. Yeah, I think that seems about right. So we'll just AutoCraft up all that. We're going to need the upgrades for these things. We have some speed upgrades, some energy upgrades. Let's tell it to make, I don't know, 30 more of each. So 30 of those, 30 of these. Hopefully that'll be enough of these upgrades to upgrade the pumps properly. And then again, we do need these filter upgrades, and that is using tin. Tin ore. Let's put some of those through our pulverizer over here. Okay, so now we should be able to make that with some enriched alloy. We'll make like, how about 30 of those? Yeah, I think we only need to make like 4 of these filters. But we'll have extra of those other things for later. Okay, so there's 4 filters. We need the pumps again. Do these things stack? They don't stack, do they? We don't need the pumpkin pies. And then we need the mechanism upgrades here. Okay. Yeah, I think we needed a full stack of these in order. Yeah, we need like 10 more of each of those. Let's do that real quick. Speed upgrades 10 and energy upgrades 10. Cool. So I'm going to get all this stuff. We're going to take all of this to the end. From my understanding, the solar neutron activators work all the time in the end. It's always considered daytime, like solar panels work in the end. If you do it here in the overworld, you're only going to be able to run them half the time unless you got something that's changing it to daytime constantly. Anyway, so let me go ahead and grab this stuff. We'll start setting this up in the end, and we'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, so here we are in the end. I flew out a little bit away from where we enter the end. The main end island is over here. If we fly this way, we could see it start spawning in a little bit. Anyway, so we're out here in the complete void. I built this platform out of slabs so Endermen are not going to spawn. And then I just made a little lake here, 2 blocks deep. full of water so we can extract it using the pumps that we need. I don't know how big of a lake we need. It doesn't really matter. It's not going to hurt anything having it too big or whatever. But anyway, over here, I did put down our shulker box full of all of the goodies that we're going to need in order to get this thing going. But the very first thing that we need to do is start hooking up these thermal evaporator plants. Yep, this is pretty much the first thing we need to do. I don't know if we have all the blocks necessary to do this, but we're going to try and see what we get here. So thermal evaporator plant, I think we're going to build like this. It has to be 2x2 on the inside. Yep, so it's an odd, or I guess an even number. Is odd to build an even number in Minecraft. Anyway, so we have that. We need the thermal evaporator controller. I'm going to remove this block. I'm going to replace that with one of these thermal evaporator valves. And whoops. And then the other valve I'm going to put on the back over here. Okay. So that's going to be our water in. This is going to be our brine out. That's the idea. Okay, so then we just need to finish building the structure like so. And I think it has to be 2 or 3 blocks tall in order for you to get the red sparklies. Looks like 2 blocks tall is the minimum, but we're going to go up 3 blocks. And we might even go taller than this. I'm not sure. But anyway, you can tell when you've done it correctly, it does those sparklies every time. If you place 1 block like this, the structure's invalid. You remove it, then it rebuilds, right? Okay. So just building it, you can see that the temperature is going up. Apparently it's really warm in freedom units in the end. I'm not sure why. You'd think it'd be kind of cold here. But anyway, so now we have that set up. We need to go grab some of these pumps. I'm going to start off with 3 of them. Yep, I think 3 might be enough here. So we want to do... how do we do this? I guess like that... Or do we want it facing the other way? It doesn't really matter. As long as the pump is above water, that's going to start doing stuff. And yeah, you can see here that it is collecting water. That's what we want. Okay. Yeah, I guess we'll just place them like that. That's fine. And then this last one, I need some kind of a block here to place it on. There we go. Awesome. So all of these are now collecting water. When I do the heavy water ones, I'm going to have to install the heavy water filter before I place these things down. Otherwise, it's going to be full of water and not producing the heavy water like we want. Okay, so now that we have that, we need to grab some ender fluid conduit over here and do this. We will set this to extract always active, and of course, extract always active. And that is going to insert into here. So we should, at this point, start having some water in here. That's turning into brine. Yep, it's turning into brine again without anything from us, just because it's already so warm in the end. Now you can pump up the temperature in this thing. So I've made another thermal evaporator valve here. And with this other valve, we can pipe in heat. So I made 2 of these resistive heaters here. So I'm just going to place it this way. So one end is facing into there. And then the other end, I think you just give it RF. This you can tell how much RF per tick that you want it to use. So you can pump it up really high if you wanted to. I brought some flux points in here somewhere. Here they are. We can place that here, give it power, and then you can say, hey, use 100 RF per tick, and then that starts boosting up the amount of heat that's doing. You can say use 300. I'm not exactly sure how much you can give this thing, but what I find weird is that it says the temperature is this, but if we look at the thermal evaporator, like the temperature is way higher than that. I'm not sure how the heat works in mechanism, but you would think, does that mean it's raising the temperature by 88.4 degrees? I mean, I honestly don't know. But you can see here that the temperature is rising way higher than 88.4 degrees. But yeah, we're not really doing anything with that right now since these pumps don't have water going into them. So electricity, power. Let's give them some power. I think we can use that same thing over here so we're not just wasting these flux points. So we'll do 3 of those here, and then I'll just bring the power down and around. There we go. So the pumps are now getting power, so they should be pumping fluid. And then we also need to give those upgrades, which we have not done. I did make extra upgrades because I figured that we are going to need those. Okay, so this will give the energy upgrades first. So they're using a lot less power. and then speed upgrades so they are doing more with that power that they're using. Okay, so now we should be seeing a lot more water in this thing. Yep, now we're gaining water quite quickly. We could also potentially use these dense infinite water sources if we wanted to, but I kind of feel like these are the better way to go. And with the power that we're going to be making from the fusion reaction, it's not going to matter with how much that we're using here. So anyway, if we need to add more pumps, we can just add more pumps right along this cable and then add some more fluid ducts over here. Or I guess these are ender fluid conduits. So now we need to set up a second one of these towers. Yep. So just like the first one, need to build another thing. And I'm just going to build it 1 block away. Don't need any real distance between the two. So like that. We need the controller. And then, of course, our valves. So 1 for the lithium out, 1 for the brine in, and then 1 for heat like we did on the other one. Okay, so we can just build the structure. It has to be at least 2 blocks tall like we saw before, and then we'll probably just build a 3rd block tall. Awesome. All right, so that's pretty much it. So this one, we just need to pull the brine out and push it into here. So this is going to be insert. This one's going to be extract, always active. And then we should start producing lithium like we were producing brine over there without any further addition. But the more heat you give it, the faster the millibuckets per tick is. And that's kind of what we want to do, is just bump that up a little bit. So let me grab our other resistive heater over here. Like so. And then, of course, that needs power. So we can either pull power from this one or put another flux point on there. I guess we'll just do this. We're not going to be making it use too much power. 300 RF per tick, more than enough. That's insert only. I guess it doesn't really matter for this. Let's extract. This will be insert. Okay, anyway. So that is now producing lithium. Well, I guess it's full of lithium. We can't really do much of that. So we have liquid lithium here. We want to turn this into a gas. I do believe, I can't remember how this works with these solar neutron activators. I think it takes a gas in, it takes lithium gas in, and then it outputs the tritium gas. I think that's how that works. So we need to get ourselves a, oh, I didn't make it. Whoops. I need to get myself a thing to convert from the fluid to the gas and have this pump out into that. All right, guys, so I fixed the mistake. This was actually supposed to be extract, not insert. We're not inserting into the pipe. We're extracting the power out. Anyway, so we got that solved. I did make the rotary condensator, and we are pumping the fluid out and into here, and we did have to toggle the operation. So we're deconcentrating, we're taking the liquid, and we're turning into a gas. Okay, so now we need to take some of these ultimate pressure tubes and something like that. And then these guys over here, the solar neutron activators, they accept that fluid from the bottom. Again, I don't know how many of these we need, but I'm going to place one right here. So yeah, it's taking the gaseous lithium and it's turning into tritium over here. So I guess we can place all 3 of them down. It's not really going to hurt anything to do more. But yeah, we're only making it at a certain speed. So we can put speed upgrades in here. These do not accept energy upgrades because they get energy from solar and they can't be more efficient for whatever reason. So we can put speed upgrades in here. Like so. Okay, now we got tritium in all of these. So the liquid lithium, we are completely empty in there. We're filling back over here. I'm not really sure if it's worth me like setting up some kind of reservoir or whatever to take more of brine and more lithium and store it somewhere. Like these tanks already have an internal storage here. I'm not sure what that internal storage is, but I think it depends on how tall you make these. So we might make them really tall so they can be their own storage. Anyway, so now we have the tritium over here, and this is a gas. So we need to store that somewhere. So I'm going to connect all 3 of these together. And then we will dump that into an ultimate gas tank. Oop, where'd that just go? There we go. We'll dump all of that into an ultimate gas tank over here for storage. And we'll place it here. I was going to place it down here, but that might have collected the lithium, so I don't really want that. So yeah, we're getting tritium now. Awesome. So that's 1/2 of the fuel that we need. Now the other half is going to come from heavy water. Okay. So again, we need more of these electric pumps. We need more of the upgrades, and apparently I need more upgrades than what I made. So let's place these pumps down real quick. So we'll put the heavy water filters in them. That way they can't ever get regular water. They're only ever going to get the heavy water. Yeah, I am going to need more upgrades. I thought I brought more than enough. Nope. Anyway, so we will upgrade 2 of these fully. So that one's done. And that one's done. Oh, I guess I have more energy upgrades. I need more speed upgrades. I didn't realize I had these on me. Okay, so we need 16 more speed upgrades to get all these things going. So these we can just place over the water like we did before. Do I got some kind of a block here? Yeah, I guess we can just put down some slabs or something. I guess we need to go up one more. Okay, so that, this one. Then I'll remember the 2 that are on the inside are the ones that need the other upgrades here. Okay, so we have those guys. Did I press shift? Okay, yeah, it does. Just remove the slab and not the full block. All right, so these guys are also going to need power, so we can put our conduits here to give them power. And then they're going to be extracting out heavy water, so we will need conduits to extract that heavy water. So all of these need to be set to extract and always active. Now the heavy water has nowhere to go, so these should still have them in it. Yeah, so we're getting heavy water here just based on the internal power from when they're in my inventory and charging up. Okay, so we have heavy water here and we have regular water over there. The heavy water does need to go into another block. That needs to go into an electrolytic separator. That's going to separate the deuterium, I believe, is what it is. Yeah, we can just place. Oop, I guess we'll place it right there. That's not where I want it, actually. We'll place it right here. So that'll separate the deuterium from oxygen. And the oxygen, whichever side, we can just say dump excess. We don't really care about it. So we can do this, and I guess we can connect them. That's fine, like so. So heavy water is going into here. So we are separating deuterium from oxygen, and I'm going to say dump excess on the oxygen side. This machine also needs upgrades. And then everything needs power, obviously. So let's connect power somewhere. I guess we will connect that up like that. I'll just put a flux point right here. That should be good enough. All right, guys, so we got all the upgrades in here. We're making deuterium. I have started exporting that over into an ultimate gas tank. This is now full. And then over here, our other ultimate gas tank. This is full as well, the tritium. So everything's starting to back up a little bit. I did end up adding in 8 total electric pumps over here, all fully upgraded. Yep, all the different upgrades in here. I felt like we were getting the deuterium a lot slower than we were getting the tritium, and we're going to need both of those at the same speed. So I don't know if now we're getting this too fast or whatever, but I mean, we can always increase the size of these towers, like I said. We can add more of the towers, the solar evaporators. There's a few different things we could do. And then we could also even not use the resistive heaters. You can use these thermal evaporators with solars if we wanted to. So that could cut down a little bit more of the energy that we're pumping into it, but I think we're fine on all of that. Thing is, though, we're kind of out of time on this episode, so I think we're going to wait to set up the reactor until next time, but we got the fuels all ready to go. Yeah, those are what's going to go into the reactor to actually power stuff. So all comes from water. It's very cool. I like it. But anyway, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to leave a like on the episode if you liked it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.